there's an empty seat there. Can we make room for some other people and maybe move down a little bit? We've got people in the hallway, and I just want to make everybody welcome and make everybody available to stand or be involved, if at all possible.
No dice.
Wonderful. I'm Julia Hurley. I am the creator of the amendment that changed the bylaws for the state of Tennessee. It has been something
on
we've been
video
working
now.
on for 3 consecutive years, so quite some time to get these bylaws changed. I'll tell you that the very first vote that we had on the state executive committee, I was my first year when I was elected, was to whether to leave the primaries open or to close the primaries. And that vote was won to leave the primaries open by 6 votes. So it was very contested. It was a hot and heavy debate. And since then, the state executive committee members make up a very large conservative portion of who represents you as the Republican Party as a whole. So we've been working on this amendment for 3 years to come to an agreement on A, how to leave the primaries open, and B, make each candidate a more successful and conservative Republican candidate, okay? Let me remind you that over 20 years ago, less than 10 years ago, we were begging people to be on the ballot. I hope that you remember that. I hope that there are some of you in this room that were elected when Democrats run Tennessee, and we had to beg Republicans to put their names on the ballots as Republicans. That's no longer the case. We have so many Republicans that want to serve, and we want them to serve. But now we're in a almost super majority. We're just like the best winning football team. Tyler quoted me on this in the newspaper. Okay? When you're on top, you want the best players. You want to continue to win. You want the championship. And the Republican Party is a brand that wants the best of the best of the best. So we keep that super majority in Nashville and keep the values that the conservative Republicans in the state of Tennessee have fought the Democrats for control for over 150 years to keep. That is what this amendment was about. That's what this amendment is about. This is not about one candidate. This is about 95 counties of the state of Tennessee who have struggled for 150 years against the oppression of the liberal Democrat Party in Nashville. This is a way to maintain that and allow Democrats, the mistake that they make of voting Democrat when they're young, to come over and earn the right to be a member of this party. So that's why this amendment was made, okay? I just want to make it very clear. We did that in Anderson County, made it very clear. This is not about one candidate. This is about the state of Tennessee maintaining their majority, okay? So I just want to run over these with you. I know you each have a copy. To be a bona fide Republican for the state of Tennessee for the ballot in 2018, the minimum is A and B, or B and C, a combination of those, okay? Any individual who is actively involved in the Tennessee Republican Party, their county party, or any recognized auxiliary organization of either, and resides in the registered to vote in said county they are running, and either, okay, so that's an either or. B is not an option. An individual who has voted in at least 3 of 4 of the most recent statewide Republican primary elections. Let me repeat that to you and explain to you which 3 those were. Because if you were too busy to vote for Donald Trump, if you were too busy to vote for your congressional race, or you were too busy to vote for the Lamar Alexander race, in which it was hotly contested and he had a Democrat opponent, which 3 of those people were not important enough for you to have voted for to say that you want to serve as one of those exact same Republican elected officials? So 3 out of 4 consecutive, okay? Now C, it's an option, either or. Any individual who is vouched for in writing for the satisfaction of the state chairman as a bona fide Republican, and he explained that process to you. So anybody who is vouched for, that letter will go to the campaign committee, correct? The political committee, and then that will be discussed, and then it will be sent to him. A member of the SEC, CEC, which is your county elected commission, and they have to be in the county where the individual resides, or a Republican elected official. This is not a retroactive ruling. We are not trying to come after anyone who in the last election dedicated themselves and bona fide status written in their pledge to the Republican Party. Again, this is about maintaining the super majority with more conservative and dedicated people on our ballots, okay? The state chairman at any time can ask for more qualified verification of the individuals in question. So I want to make sure that I've been as clear as I possibly can of why this rules change came about. Again, we leave the primaries open. Many people make mistakes throughout their life. They really do, especially young people who are under the influence of people in their sororities or fraternities or campus life, something that creates a situation they feel they need to vote as a Democrat or something's happened. We want to maintain our open primaries to give them the opportunity to grow into the Republican Party. We want to give everybody the opportunity to grow into the Republican Party. Otherwise, the state party no longer exists. If we don't grow our membership and our dedication, our financial contributions, our active involvement in the local parties, we don't have a party to choose candidates for this majority, okay? That's what this is about. I want to make that very clear. So stating that, I will help you answer any questions I can. Bob?
Would you read what actively involved means?
This is yours or the state's?
That's the state.
Okay. Actively involved in quotations. In the foregoing section shall be defined as a quantifiable my glasses are so bad. Shall be defined as a quantifiable contribution, including but not limited to time or money to the Tennessee Republican Party, their county Republican Party, or any recognized auxiliary organization of either during the time period since the most recent county party organization meeting. Okay, so when was our last meeting? Reorganization. February? February. So since February, candidates, people who want to be actively involved, please come to the county executive committee meetings. This is the most Republicans I've seen in one room since the Lincoln Day dinner. Seriously. We need your active involvement. This is what this is about. So please contribute and join us. Larson.
Can you make a clarification? The original email about this meeting sent out said A and B or A and C. But this notice that you said give us walk to the door says A and B or B and C. They don't match.
That we clarified that. We took B and moved it A and B, where originally A was the voting record, and somehow that ended up being B. So it's A and B or B and C. But originally A was the voting record. The voting record is not negotiable. It must be 3 out of 4. That is not negotiable.
Thank you.
As still past chair of the executive committee, I don't receive emails anymore. And I'd like to know why.
I'm on the state executive committee. I'm not chairman of this local party. But that's a great question. That's not relevant to this situation, but I'm
Well,
sure
it
we can
is,
find an
because
answer
I
for
didn't
you.
get an invitation to this meeting. Is the chair
I don't have
still on
control of
the
the email
committee?
list. It's not mine. I'm so sorry. But
Yeah,
you're here, so
I
you found
guess
out about it
you are.
regardless. Question? Yes, ma'am.
What was the vote on adopting this particular amendment?
That's a great question. There are 66 state executive committee members, 1 male, 1 female for every senator. There was 2 no votes and 1 abstained. Scott Smith, he's running his own campaign and did not want to get involved. So we had 2 no votes. So it was almost a unanimous passing, Senator.
Voice vote.
Pardon?
It was a voice vote.
It was. It was hand raised, and then they counted, and then they counted again, and then they counted a 3rd time.
For any of you that don't know me, I'm State Senator Richard Briggs, but I'm also, which you may not know, chairman of the Veterans Caucus. And part of our responsibility is to look out after the veterans and be sure they get all the rights they deserve. According to this, a person who is active duty military and leaves, been in a combat zone, comes back to this country and wants to run as a Republican, cannot run in the state of Tennessee. If he's been stationed in a remote area and can't vote in certain elections, and I was one of those people in 2004. I had a short notice deployment to Afghanistan. I missed the county primary in May, and I missed the August primary in, I missed the one in May and the one in July vote. That was brought up. I apologize. And I know we said sometimes maybe they're just too busy to work for something else, but some of our soldiers that are serving overseas, they are busy.
Yeah.
And when they come back, I think that they should have the right to vote, to vote, they should have the right to serve. According to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, they cannot
Is there a
participate.
question, Senator? Please ask your question.
Why are veterans prohibited from running for office?
No, there are provisions in the political committee, they're aware that
Yes,
they're
sir.
gonna be, I understand. But ultimately, the last line, it says vouch for to the satisfaction of the chairman.
If you're in a combat zone, we
Why
can
does a
tell you
combat
that.
veteran, why does a combat veteran have to come Rob? I don't know I don't know you, I'm sorry, are you
I'm the chairman, yes.
Have you served in combat?
No, sir.
Why
And your
does a
name
combat-
is?
Scott Goldman.
Well, I
I've heard the
just
name.
thought he
Why,
named
why
it
should a
better.
combat veteran who comes back that wants to
understand, yes.
Why does he have to come to someone who felt it wasn't worth their time to go and serve in combat? We've been in war for 17 years.
Yes, sir.
People make decisions.
Exactly.
They made decisions to put their life on the line and others didn't. Why
Right.
does that person who did cannot run, or they have to come and get permission?
So these bylaws are the ones that have been in place since 1990. So I didn't write the original bylaws. So, and the previous 6 chairmen in front of me, that when the bylaws were in place, when it was 2 of 4, not 3 of 4, did not address that issue. I think it's very valid. I agree. Ultimately, it says vouched for by the chairman. If there's a combat veteran, we've been in other meetings where we've said, look, we are taking into consideration, if you are in a desert outpost and you're not able to postmark your ballot, we understand that. By the way, this is also not mentioned in here as well, but, if you are under the age, if you are not old enough to have qualified for the amount of elections that you have been in, you can also seek a waiver from the chairman. If you are moved to another state and you had not voted in Tennessee, you can get your previous state's records to prove that you're a Republican. So there are a lot of provisions in there as well.
Sounds like there's a lot of barriers to,
Yes.
to a veteran to me.
Well, I mean, we haven't written that in, Senator, but, you know, again, that was what we were left with from the previous 25 years.
It sounds like it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
We're absolutely not disagreeing with you, but as I stated, it has taken me 3 years to get this far with 66 members, as I'm sure you can respect that you have the same.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next question.
It's kind of piggybacking on what he said, because I knew you said that basically, what have you done to basically earn it that was better? Myself, I did vote for Trump because I was back in the States, got out through the Wounded Warrior Program, which left me where I was here. Prior to that, I was actually deployed with Spec War. Guess what? Most of my team actually died. That was more important to me. Time before that, I was over in Afghanistan. That was more important to me. Okay?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. My problem is I've tried finding online what the waiver process is. It is not easy. I am running for Congress. I plan on being there. But my problem is all the, like he was saying, the hurdles.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't be there. And I understand that you're saying this is what we have in place, this is what's been taken for years. I hate to say it, that's politics, it sucks, it's there. But reality is, for those, not even saying myself, across the board, if you're trying to return, you're trying to find the information, it needs to be more forward, so either A, it can be addressed, or 2, the people like myself and others can be able to find it and handle it.
Okay, 2 things on that. Welcome to the pool of people putting their name on a ballot. It is not easy, and thank you very much for doing that, and we appreciate your service very much, and thank you for that, or we wouldn't have the ability to stand here and do this today, okay? So we appreciate that, and we acknowledge that. But anybody can Google your state representative, your county commissioner, your city council member. You can go attend any meeting, and all of these meetings are publicly posted. Do you know Senator Briggs?
No, ma'am, you actually, I was planning on meeting up there.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So there you go. But you can reach out to any elected official, you can research the state party, you can Google it, you can find us anywhere, and you can call us. So if you're having any issues whatsoever finding these bylaws, there are how many elected officials in the Knox County?
I have them actually printed out
Okay,
the
that
house.
can give you that
But
information at any time.
yes, ma'am, I understand that. I haven't printed at the house, and I understand that. My point is it's not front and easy to actually find them. When you're actually looking for it, basically, the way we see it is basically, excuse my language, we're getting shit on. That's just plain and simple. And when you're looking at basically what you're looking for, and you can't find it, it ain't looking like, hey, we got help, we're looking out for you. We're seeing it as, keep on going.
I appreciate that, and we'll take that into consideration, and we'll repost
Junior,
those
why
on the
are you
website
being
a second
so
time.
hostile?
Next question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. Just to clarify the process. If I heard your opening statement correctly, everybody that puts their name on the ballot, gets the petition, gets their signatures, and goes in and says, I am a Republican and I am running for office, is in the system and is a candidate.
Correct.
Until somebody
Protest.
challenges it. So
That's correct.
everybody's in on their word regardless
That's correct.
until somebody says no. And then
That's
at that point, they have to publicly put their name up. They have to ask, here's why I think this person isn't, or put some sort of case together and why.
That's correct.
Which then comes to,
Our ED and our political committee.
and then you review it. What is the time that process, if Joe Schmo puts in a petition, how long before that is either judged yay or nay? And then what's the process if the candidate says, this is wrong and I wanna be able to prove that I am?
So we are gonna start as soon as they've protested, we're gonna try to deal with them day of. We don't know how many there are gonna be. As you can imagine, there are thousands of Republicans across the state that are running. So we're trying to expedite as quickly as possible. Some will be easier than others. But, and there will be a cutoff. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. It's something that's still in discussion, making sure that you can't protest somebody on the last day. You know what I'm saying?
This teammate's had his hand up for a minute.
As the author of these new bylaw changes, does this have anything to do with the fact that Kent County beat you in 2012 and you attacked Kent County as a Democrat during that state house primary? That is a fact. Does this have anything to do, since you're the author of this amendment?
No, but I appreciate your question. I just had a question.
It was the timing of it,
I gotcha. Next
Yeah,
question.
we're not gonna do it last day.
But how long after the protest is made before you can clear? You can tie somebody up half the season.
No, we're gonna try to do it day of, as quickly as we can. We have all of your voting information, and once we get the protest and why they're protesting, we'll do it expeditiously as we can.
Any more questions before we begin the program? No? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the list of people whose names that we have that are currently running for office. We didn't have your information, but we'd love to hear from you anyway. Give everybody 2 minutes. This is not a campaign event, so please do not campaign here. This is just stating to the party and the voters in this room why you are a bona fide Republican and what you have done to match A and B, or B and C. Okay, so 2 minutes, and we were gonna start with